This week begins with a disclaimer. You see, the topic of this video is organic food, but more specifically, whether or not it's worth paying extra for, and should it therefore be a regular inclusion on the Grocery Pros shopping list. Now, while answering that question involves, in my opinion, exploring some different aspects like the health and environmental benefits of organic food, I am neither a nutritionist nor an agricultural expert. So my perspective and my advice come from my own experience in the food industry, as well as my reflections on price and value, and to some extent my understanding of the work of experts in those fields, people like Professor Tim Spector from the Zoe channel. My focus, however, is always on one thing: helping people take a realistic approach to their grocery budgeting by balancing health and budget with what's sustainable for real shoppers, real families, and real households. With that in mind, I hope you enjoyed this one, and I hope you take something from it that makes you feel more empowered to make better decisions when you're in the supermarket. With grocery prices on the rise, every single dollar counts when it comes to your household budget. But when it comes to organic food, if you're like me, you probably think the price at the shelf can feel astronomical. Hello and welcome. I'm David, and today I'm going to answer whether paying extra for organic food is really worth it. I'm going to cover what organic actually means, the reasons behind its higher and sometimes way higher price tag versus non-organic equivalents, and most importantly, I'll share some ways to help you decide if the premium prices can be justified and sustained week in, week out as part of your grocery budget, or if they're just going to be a strain on your wallet. Now, whether you're a long-time buyer of organic, or you're just curious to know if you should be budgeting extra for your family's health, stick around. I'm about to uncover some key factors that could help streamline your shopping decisions and potentially save you some money. Let's get stuck in. Let's begin by looking at what exactly organic means in the context of food and groceries. The term organic refers to how agricultural products are grown and processed. And to be certified organic, foods have to comply with some pretty strict regulations that, although they vary from country to country, generally prohibit using artificial fertilizers, chemicals, pesticides in their production. Organic farming also emphasizes the use of renewable resources, the conservation of soil and water, and higher welfare standards in animals. All part of a more environmentally conscious approach that aims to take better care of our ecosystems and ultimately our planet. Now, this already helps to explain in part why organic products often come with such a hefty price tag. Organic farming typically requires more labour, more people, more management than conventional farming, and it turns out that natural pesticides and fertilizers are often just more expensive than their chemical counterparts. What's more, organic farms are usually smaller than conventional ones, and because they don't use synthetic pesticides, they often yield less. So all these factors contribute to higher production costs, which in turn increase the price you see in the supermarket. Now, it might be that for you, the environmental benefits alone justify the investment in organic food, but I think considering the potential health benefits to you and your family is also part of the equation for most people. So let's delve into those nutritional upsides and see whether the higher prices can be justified within your budget. Now that we've looked at what makes organic farming different and often more expensive, let's turn our attention to our own health and well-being. If you're someone who's considering organic products on your shopping list, you're probably interested in one of two things, or maybe both. Firstly, if there are risks associated with non-organic foods that make it worth spending that extra money to avoid, or secondly, on the flip side, if there are health advantages to be gained from organic food which would give you reason to feel the price premium is worthwhile. Now, I can say that I've certainly been someone who has asked both of these questions over the years, and I have been somewhat of a skeptic when it comes to organic in the past. So, first off, let's look at the possible health risks of non-organic food. There are a lot of studies out there indicating that pesticide exposure could lead to an increased risk of a variety of illnesses. Things including Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's, certain cancers, allergies, asthma, and, in children in particular, ADHD and autism. I've linked a few of these in the comments if you want to go a bit deeper with your own research. And a video that I think you'll find really interesting on this is the Zoe interview with Professor Tim Spector. I've linked that here as well. There are several noteworthy points raised by Professor Spector in his video. One is that studying the effects of pesticide exposure is rather challenging. You have to track the diets of a lot of people over a long period of time, and at the same time find ways of adjusting for other lifestyle choices that could be impacting results. Things like exercise levels, smoking, alcohol consumption, and so on and so on. Secondly, he points out that while eating non-organic fruit and veg can expose you to higher levels of things like pesticide and herbicide, which can be bad for us, people who consume more fruits and veggies nevertheless still tend to live longer and have lower risk of heart disease and dementia when compared to people on lower fibre diets. So in other words, if you do choose not to invest in organic, don't avoid fruit and veg altogether. Finally, before we move on, the World Health Organization, which is one key body that says pesticides are potentially toxic to humans and advocates for a ban on those pesticides that are the most toxic, also points out that those who are at greatest risk are people directly exposed to these kinds of chemicals, including agricultural workers and people in the immediate vicinity where pesticides are being used. The general population, in other words, all the rest of us, is actually exposed to much lower levels of pesticide residue. So, there are definitely links to issues that non-organic produce can cause, but every individual shopper out there has to make their own call, and you have to weigh up the potential risks for yourself. On the other side of the coin, there's the question of what organic food might contain that can benefit your family's health. So, simply put, are organic foods really healthier, and can that justify the price for you? Well, organic foods often do contain higher levels of certain minerals and nutrients like antioxidants, which are linked to a lot of different health benefits. Organic fruits and vegetables have been shown to contain up to 69% more of some specific antioxidants than their conventionally grown counterparts. And organic milk can have more omega-3 fatty acids, which are important for heart health and brain function. So, what's the bottom line on all of this? Even if the studies have their limitations, I think most of you would agree that ingesting chemicals over a long period of time that your body's not designed to consume isn't going to do you any good. And not only do organic products reduce that exposure, but they also increase your intake of good stuff, which will help you to stay healthier. But regardless of organic or non-organic, it's still better to consume more fruit and veg than less. So one thing the price of organic shouldn't help you decide is whether or not it's worthwhile maintaining a healthier diet that's higher in fibre. All of which leads us to the final and crucial piece of this equation, the price difference itself. One of the first things to note is that the price gap between organic and non-organic items can vary widely depending on the type of product. Organic fruits and vegetables, for example, often carry a higher premium because they need more attention and deliver less product. These are the percentage differences in price between organic and non-organic versions of some typical weekly groceries. I calculated these numbers using the prices I found online at one of the major Aussie retailers just earlier this week. Now this list covers meat, dairy, fruit and veg, plus a couple of other regular staples. And you can see straight away that these percentages are massive. From a 260% premium for organic oats, that's getting on for 3 times the standard price, to as little as 130% markup on organic tomatoes. Based on this small sample, the average difference is somewhere between 2 and 3 times more expensive for organic than for a non-organic product. A basket containing just these products could set you back somewhere between $80 and $100 if you bought organic only. And for context, an average 4-person family in Australia spends in total around $210 a week on groceries. So we come back to the original question at the start of all this: is organic worth it? Well, we've covered 3 interconnected aspects feeding into answering that. The extent to which you believe in and value the health and environmental benefits of organic, plus your personal perception of what constitutes a reasonable price premium for those benefits. But if you're still in a quandary, wondering how to do the best by your family and your household budget in general, here are 3 strategies you can apply. Number 1, prioritize your purchases. As we've seen, going fully organic is pricey, and it may not be altogether necessary given the relative benefits of some products. So steer your spending towards products you consume the most, or towards those known to have higher pesticide levels when grown conventionally, things like apples or strawberries or spinach. More on that in just a moment. Number 2, look for deals and bulk buy. Organic food doesn't have to break the bank if you stay alert and you plan ahead. Keep an eye out for sales and see if you can buy in bulk when it makes sense to try and offset some of the cost difference. Number 3, grow your own. Might not be for everyone, but if you have space, growing your own can be a fantastic, cost-effective and pretty rewarding way to eat cleaner and go healthier. Get that little planter box on the windowsill and see what you can sprout. There are a couple of useful lists out there called the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. And if you have not heard of them before, you should check them out. They were devised in the US as a way to categorize fruit and vegetables based on the levels of pesticide residue in them when they're grown conventionally. The lists are updated every year, and they could be a really handy guide for you, particularly if you have a family or perhaps you have existing health concerns but you don't want to break the bank by buying organic. The way it works is that the fruit and vegetables with the highest amounts of pesticides are called the Dirty Dozen. So these would be the ones to try and buy organic if you had the choice. By contrast, the Clean 15 are the foods containing the least residue. So by inference, if that is the most important piece of the equation for you, then it would make sense to go conventional with those products rather than to trade up to the more expensive organic versions. Now, one practical thing you can do from this is to start incorporating these lists into your shopping routine. You should, of course, definitely always be shopping to a list. So create a little sub-list of the Clean 15 and Dirty Dozen, keep it on your shopping app or just in your wallet, and have it to hand whenever you go and do your grocery shopping. That way you can monitor the impact of any swaps you make on your grocery bill a lot easier and see how you feel about the quality and the taste of different items. By putting this to the test, you'll see what happens to your food budget when you choose organic, and importantly, you'll make more informed decisions that are right for you and your family's health. We've covered a lot of ground today, from understanding what organic means to evaluating the health benefits and exploring the prices. We've also delved into how you can make smarter choices using the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15 categorizations. When all's said and done, the decision to buy organic is a very personal one, and it's going to vary depending on your family's needs, your beliefs, and your budget. But if there's one vital takeaway, it's this: you have to take responsibility for making the most informed choices that you can, because you shouldn't rely on the food industry to do that for you. When it comes to organic, it's not all or nothing, and it is okay to set yourself priorities. So take what I've shared today and use it to make better decisions that are right for you and your family. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Are there items you always buy organic? Or have you found the prices just to be too steep? Maybe you have tips on how to shop organic without overspending. Whatever it is, go ahead and drop your thoughts, experiences, and questions in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. By you subscribing, I know this channel is on the right track and there is a real need and a real value for practical advice to help people make better food budget choices. Next time, we'll explore more ways to shop smart and save money. So make sure you hit that notification bell to stay updated on all my latest videos. Thank you for watching. Keep up your journey to pro grocery shopping, and I'll see you in the next video.